Thanks for joining me today. I want to get into this pretty quickly and make this a quick guide. So here we are taking a look at some tips and tricks. Essentially here, when you go to the cargo center and the cargo service section of any of the main stations, you're going to see that you can get these 8 SCU, but they're 16K per box. And you can put one SCU boxes actually inside this. So this is something as a bit of a hack, I guess. If you want to do this, it's up to you. But once you get to the cargo, the freight management, you can put it on the left-hand side and you can actually go into it and you can drop things into it. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to drop the one SCU boxes into this. So your initial mission is going to be, I've seen anywhere from like 9, 11 boxes, but they're all one SCU boxes. So if you want to combine those, this is the best way to do it. If you don't really care to do this, you can actually just skip over this part. You don't have to do this. It's just something as an option. And then alternatively, once you do this, when you get to the other side, you'll have to undo it as well. So rep is also going to be important. So you can see here the Covalex is going to be where you're going to be doing the rep for cargo running. It starts off at rookie and then you'll work your way up to junior. It doesn't take very long. Actually, I think I did 8 or 9 missions before I got it even this high to junior. And then you work through junior pretty quickly as well. I think I got as high as the member section on the PTU. It's just something to kind of work through. It's also going to depend on what ships you have. That being said, let's get into the very first mission. When you first get started, you're going to have this opportunity for independent cargo hauler. This is going to be a little bit, location is going to be dependent upon where you start at. So in my case, because I'm on Orison, I'm going to start at Sarapin. You're going to have to move cargo from Sarapin down to Orison. Do note that some of these missions don't appear, or if they get failed, you may have to work with somebody else. If yours goes away, it'd be best, A, to put that in the issue council, but also to work with somebody else to get that fixed. Because if someone else shares with you, you can then get the rep going again. Once you get that mission, you can go down to your freight manager and the freight elevator, and you can sit it down so you can find the boxes. Again, if the boxes don't appear here, I usually Alt F4 and kind of leave the game, but I don't know. There's some bugs that are still being worked through. Drag the boxes over from the warehouse into your main freight elevator, and then from there you can bring it back up. And at that point, it's just loading the boxes into whatever craft it is you want to take. This is where I want to kind of recommend a few different ships here. You're just really going to load it up, and then from there we're going to make our way to the next location. So that's fairly straightforward. But as far as recommending, there's a couple rental crafts you can take or partake in. I think the Hull A is going to be a really good one to start with, and it's one of the lower costs for renting. As far as the Hull A, the lowest price for that is just under 50K. So that's going to be a good alternative. Initially, I like the Raft as well. That's 100,000. For a bit more than that, you can get the Constellation Taurus. That's a pretty good pick as well. And cost per SCU for all of these is relatively good for the rental price. And then the good one, the biggest one that you're going to be able to get a hold of and take advantage of is going to be the Caterpillar, which is just a little under 200K. But honestly, it's a fairly hefty cost. I was a little disappointed with the Caterpillar as far as like unloading and loading because I had to get up on the Caterpillar. It's a little harder to, or kind of funky to work with, but it is a good ship. So if that's what you want to do, if you want to do a lot of cargo hauling, you don't want to buy a ship out of the game or pay too much in-game, or you don't have enough AUSC, Caterpillar is a pretty good option at 200K. Once you get to your location, you're just going to unload your boxes just like I am here. And then we're going to use the freight manager again to go down and basically send all this down. And you'll notice pretty quickly here, there's going to be a little checkbox that comes through. It's just saying I have 11 boxes that I said I would bring. And then from there, you complete the mission. Once you do that as well, then you're actually going to get access to more cargo missions as well under the hauling section. Now, this is where I did do other guides. I have kind of a logistics guide as well. And I'm going to kind of give an overview of that. The thing is the more missions you can take, obviously the better, but it's going to be dependent upon what kind of ship you have. And again, the ones that I mentioned before have pretty good SU, except for the Hull A's only got 64, but something like even the Raft can do quite a few missions, just like the one I'm showing here. So you want to pick missions that kind of go together. This is working from the Orison space station up to this is the New Babbage up to Port Tressler and vice versa. So, and it's working with one other Stanton kind of, it's a Gray Cat, it's an outpost. So you just kind of want to find these that kind of go together and work them in tandem and kind of load up all the SCUs together and take them to the different locations. Ideally, that's the best way to go. In this case, I've got 9 missions here. I was able to complete all of these for the most part. It's working from Cruel L1, L4, L5, and also working within Sarapin itself. And so I'd open Notepad and I kind of put some tips together and I kind of jotted down where I was going with what, because another thing you need to note is even in this case, I have quite a few orders of stems going out and you have to deliver the mission of 4, like if you have a 4 SU box of stems you need to deliver, you have to deliver that particular box to that particular box of stems. It's not just any box of stems. It has to be those contractually obligated boxes to that particular location. So just something to be aware of. So I do like to separate them. Something like this, the Caterpillar is kind of nice because you have the different modules. Anyways, it's just kind of working out the logistics. And again, I do have a separate video on that. So with this last part, I want to talk a little bit about tractor beams. You'll notice when I get close to the 8 SU box here, I can't actually grab it, even when I jump, get closer to it. So I actually had to back up in order to latch on to the box. This is with a max lift tractor beam, but I think it happens with both of them. I just happen to be using the max lift mostly because it's the better tractor beam this go around. It goes further, it can carry bigger SU boxes. So with the smaller tractor beam, you can only carry up to a 16 SU box, and again, it's limited on its range. So this, even though it's 11K for this max lift, it's going to be a good investment for those that want to do serious cargo hauling. That being said, you do want to be aware of those limitations. So if you are seeing missions, they come in certain size boxes. So if it has a lot of SUs, more than likely it's in some pretty big boxes. Although I've seen mostly 8 SUs. I haven't seen much bigger boxes than that. Additionally, when you get to the bigger ships, you're going to need the bigger tractor beam to support that. And some of the ships also have tractor beams installed, like the C1 and the Taurus. So just note that kind of will counterbalance and help you a bit when it comes to the tractor beam. That being said, I also want to note that some of the ships have kind of weird configurations with how many SUs they can actually carry. For example, like the Taurus, it can only carry, I think, maybe 8 SCU boxes, and these missions come in predetermined boxes. You don't get to choose, like, hey, I want to take it in all 1 SCU boxes or something of that nature. So just know that something like the C2 or something could be really helpful because it has plenty of space, but some of these other ships are limited on how many boxes it can actually carry of certain configurations of SCU boxes. Anyways, thank y'all for catching the video and taking the time to watch it, and appreciate those that take time to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.